Alara stood at the edge of the forest, her breath misting in the cold night air. The ancient oaks loomed like sentinels, their gnarled branches clawing at the twilight sky. Her mother's cryptic journal trembled in her hands, its worn leather cover slick with dew. A sense of dread gnawed at her, but she pressed on. She had come back to this cursed village to find answers, not only about her mother's death, but also about the whispers of a curse that had haunted her family for generations. The village of Red Hollow lay silent behind her, its cobblestone streets and timbered cottages eerily quiet. The townsfolk had avoided her since she returned, their eyes darting away when she walked by. They had always been a superstitious lot, quick to mutter prayers and ward off evil with charms. But the fear in their eyes wasn't just superstition, it was something deeper. Something real. She flipped open the journal, her eyes scanning the faded ink. The blood moon rises again, as it has every 30 years. With it comes the transformation, the curse of the beast. The Moonweaver's wrath knows no bounds. We are trapped by her vengeance, chained to the shadows of our sins. Alara's pulse quickened. Her mother had never spoken of this curse, nor of the Moonweaver. Yet here it was, scrawled in her handwriting, a grim confession hidden in the pages of a book Alara had found tucked beneath the floorboards of their old home. A howl pierced the air, long and mournful, sending a shiver down her spine. The sound came from deep within the forest, a place the villagers warned against entering, especially on the eve of the blood moon. But Alara was done with warnings. If there were answers to be found, they lay in the woods. Clutching the journal, she stepped into the shadows. The forest was alive with sounds. The rustle of leaves, the hoot of an owl, the distant crunch of something moving through the underbrush. Alara's lantern cast flickering light, illuminating a narrow path that wound deeper into the trees. The journal's entries replayed in her mind, each line more unsettling than the last. I can feel it now, the change. It starts in the marrow, a heat that burns through flesh and bone. My senses sharpen, my humanity slipping away. The beast is coming. A branch snapped to her right, and she froze. Who's there? She called, her voice steadier than she felt. She tightened her grip on the lantern, her heart pounding. Then, a figure stepped into view. A man, tall and cloaked, his face hidden by the shadow of a hood. You shouldn't be here, he said, his voice low and gravelly. Alara squared her shoulders. Neither should you. The man chuckled, a sound that sent a chill down her spine. Bold, but foolish. Do you even know what you're walking into? I'm looking for answers, she said. About the curse. About my family. And you're going to help me. The man tilted his head, studying her. You're braver than most. Or more desperate. He stepped closer, and the lantern's light revealed his face. His features were sharp, his eyes a piercing amber that seemed to glow in the dark. Who are you? Alara demanded. A friend, he said. If you'll let me be. She didn't trust him, but something about his gaze held her captive. It was as if he could see straight into her soul. Then start talking, she said. What do you know about the curse? The man's expression darkened. More than you'll like. But if you're determined to know the truth, follow me. He led her deeper into the forest, where the trees grew thicker and the air colder. The path disappeared, replaced by uneven ground littered with roots and stones. Alara stumbled more than once, but the man moved with an ease that unsettled her. What's your name? She asked, breaking the silence. Call me Kael, he said. Kael, she repeated. Why are you helping me? Because I've seen what this curse can do. And because you're running out of time. The cryptic answer irritated her, but before she could press further, they arrived at a clearing. At its center stood a stone altar, weathered and cracked, surrounded by a circle of runes carved into the ground. The air buzzed with energy, and Alara felt the hair on her arms stand on end. "What is this place?" she asked. Kael turned to her, his amber eyes blazing. This is where it began. And where it must end. Before she could ask what he meant, the moon broke through the clouds. It was massive, a fiery orb that bathed the clearing in crimson light. A searing pain shot through Alara's body, and she doubled over, gasping. "It's starting," Kael said grimly. "What's happening to me?" She managed to choke out. "The curse," he said. "It's in your blood." "You're one of them." "No," she whispered. But even as she denied it, she felt the change. Her senses sharpened, her vision growing clearer even in the dim light. Her skin burned, her bones aching as if trying to reshape themselves. Kael moved to her side, his hand on her shoulder. "You need to fight it, Alara. If you give in, you'll lose yourself." "How?" she gasped. He hesitated, then said, "The Moonweaver's curse is tied to her magic. To break it, you must confront her spirit and force her to release you. But it won't be easy. She won't let go without a fight." Alara nodded, though fear coiled in her gut. She had no choice. The ritual began. Kael chanted in a language she didn't recognize, his voice steady and commanding. The runes around the altar glowed, their light pulsing in time with the beating of her heart. The wind picked up, swirling leaves and debris around them. A figure began to form above the altar, a woman, her body wreathed in silver flames, her eyes like twin moons. "You dare summon me," she said, her voice echoing like thunder. Alara stepped forward, her legs trembling but her resolve firm. "I want to end the curse." The Moonweaver laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You cannot end what was rightfully earned. Your ancestors betrayed me, and now you pay the price." "They're gone," Alara said. "Punish me if you must, but let the others go." The Moonweaver's gaze bore into her, and Alara felt the weight of centuries pressing down on her. "You would sacrifice yourself for them." "Yes," Alara said, her voice steady. The Moonweaver studied her for a long moment, then said, "Very well. But know this, breaking the curse will not undo the darkness in your blood. You will always carry the beast within you." Before Alara could respond, the Moonweaver raised her hands, and a blinding light enveloped the clearing. When the light faded, Alara was on her knees, gasping for air. The altar was gone, the runes scorched into the earth. Kael knelt beside her, his face pale. "Did it work?" she asked. Kael hesitated, then said, "The curse is broken." "But you heard her. The beast is still a part of you." Alara nodded, accepting the truth. She felt it in her bones, a lingering shadow that would never fully leave. But for now, the blood moon's light was fading, and the forest was quiet. As they made their way back to the village, Alara couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The curse was gone, but its legacy remained, and so did the question of what she would do with the power she could no longer deny. The villagers greeted her with wary eyes, their fear slowly giving way to hope. For the first time in generations, the blood moon had risen without claiming a life. But in the depths of the forest, a pair of amber eyes watched her retreating figure, a knowing smile playing on Kael's lips. "Until next time, Alara," he murmured.